Bobby Manning here. Welcome to an NBA draft edition of the Garden Report. Hope you caught our draft special on Tuesday with Jeff Goodman, where we talked about, coincidentally, our favorite prospect. Both of our favorite prospect for the Celtics at number 35 overall is Indiana center Trayce Jackson-Davis, an Indiana native, a pick and roll center who blocks shots, defends in a versatile manner across the perimeter, plays hard, and as Jeff said on the show, only Zach Edey played better at that center position across college basketball last year. An enormous senior season for Trayce Jackson-Davis, who does indeed enter this draft on the older side.
CLNS Media's Celtics coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.
4 years in college, improved throughout, and caps last year, 2010, 4 assists, which doubled from earlier in his career, particularly the year before, and that popped up in the second half of last season under Coach Mike Woodson there. You also have 3 blocks per game. Turnovers a little high, less than a 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio there, 2.5 games. High for a center, but a high usage center. His usage actually came in at 30%, which is something comparable to a star wing or even a point guard in some cases. 58% from the field on 14 shots. Like that, nearly all of his shots come from 2 at the rim. I think he just hit 3 jump shots all season, I want to say. 240 pounds, 23 years old, a 7'1" wingspan, which makes him competitive because he's only 6'8", measured 6'9" at workouts, specifically the Pacers one, which Scott Agnes wrote up. Interviewed Jackson-Davis, of course, loved seeing a team that his dad originally got drafted by, 13th overall, Dale Davis. Eventually got traded in the deal that brought Jermaine O'Neal to Indiana. Jackson-Davis, of course, changed that last name to honor his mother, who largely raised him. And the improvement year in and year out with him intrigues me, particularly because you see shades of Robert Williams here. And let's get into some of the tape. Might as well. When you look at Trayce here, it's pick and roll city, and there's a real verticality that does bring visions of Rob here. Transition here. Major flush. Just throw in some of his alley-oop material here because you do see him getting way above the rim, similar to Robert Williams out of that dunker spot. Boom, there we go. Love it. Lefty as well. Let's throw in another one here. The passing intrigues me as well with him. Not just a roller, not just a post guy, and he does have some really great post work here that we'll show you. This is out of the short roll. There's some super impressive stuff of him killing as a transition passer too. Some absolutely dazzling work out of that transition role particularly. He gets up the floor in transition in a pretty impressive way. Here's some of that flashy playmaking. Right to the corner. You saw him do this numerous times throughout the year. I mean, this is high-level stuff. Even though he comes in older, even though he's undersized, to be able to do stuff like this, specifically for a Celtics team that likes to have its centers, Al Horford, even Rob Williams throw some outlet passes. Horford's ability in particular to dribble up the floor and make plays like these, and for a guy who does that at a much more athletic level here, I think gives him a chance despite some of the other limitations in his game. I think it's nice as well to get a guy who if he's going to act as some sort of Rob insurance here, or maybe even an eventual Rob replacement, the ability to attack mismatches defensively is crucial. He does a pin down here into a low screen, steals the guard here, and makes easy work of him. This is what you want to see Rob do more often, and Trayce makes it look simple a lot of the time, the way he's able to steal off some of these guys, and he dunks over even bigger guys. You'll see if you watch his highlight tape, numerous flashy highlight slams here. And then, of course, you get to the defensive end, not to be outdone on offense. You're also going to see him blocking shots left and right. Love this in the pick and roll here in particular. Kind of defense he's going to have to play, tagging his guy and then recovering and blocking. This is the NCAA tournament against an eventual Final Four team here. This isn't the Marshall game where he scored 43 points. So I love that. Good positioning. He can switch. I want to show some of his highlight against guards in particular. This one here, on a switch, able to still recover and stay with a guy for a block. Absolutely love this play here. Again, against a good competition. I believe this is Ohio State. He stays with a guard and blocks him off the glass here. Let's get to transition because I'm impressed by the transition defense as well. The ability to stay with a guy who's flying downhill, a guard no less, and swat it. I mean, he's turned around here and still able to recover. Good length, of course. Good positioning. Blocks it with the right hand, that off hand for him again. You see plays like these left and right. These weren't outliers. So the upside, defense, passing, alley-oops, rolls. Why is he going to go second round? Why is he going to be available to the Celtics? My first point here, and of course this is my favorite guy at 35, is that he may not be at 35. Sam Vecini has him as his 39th overall prospect. Kevin O'Connor has him at 29. Probably not a range the Celtics could even move up to, though I'd be intrigued by that here, depending on the cost. 34 in ESPN's mind. The Athletic has him as a second round pick. Hollinger, 35 specifically, that Celtic spot. 38, according to Bleacher Report. Overall, I thought an older lob threat who could begin pushing Robert Williams at a critical moment for the big man's career while providing a similar impact if Williams goes down with an injury. It's remarkable how similarly they play, save for Jackson's reliance on that left hand, and let's get to that. Don't love to see it. Gonna be honest, how reliant he is on that left hand. Almost rarely scores with the right. And despite some encouraging post footwork here, that helped him dominate opposing centers in college, you legitimately see a guy here who, unlike Robert Williams, can actually pull off a smooth post hook, get underneath and use his footwork to finish over or around or underneath a guy in this case here. But that hand forced him to take some really tough shots when he got crowded in there. And you hope that his passing ability will lead him to throw it out of that spot more often than not. But a lot of times he was forcing stuff here. You do like the aggressiveness on plays like these. But this isn't going to be a shot for him at the NBA level. He's going to be able to make a play out of here. It's nice touch in the lane. It's why he shot 58%, being as aggressive as he is here. But it's all left. Let's get to one of the more awkward ones. Makes it here, but huge crowd. You'd like to see him find a teammate in this spot. He'd probably need to be aggressive for this team. This is part of how we, project a guy translating to the next level. But one thing he doesn't bring to the table that you probably want to see out of a prospect who's a little bit undersized is a jump shot, and he does not have one. No threes, not even a mid-ranger. It took, I think, let's see the exact number last year, 14 or so. Yeah. Now he's taking them at workouts, according to reports. Can he develop that part of the game, spend some time in the G League? I think he's gonna need it probably to become a starter in this league. But the rest of his game reminds me of a guy like Onyeka Okongwu, and not the sturdy post defender. I think post defense is probably gonna be his weakness in this league. Can you even defend a bigger five with him? Maybe not. But luckily, you don't run into too many of these bruisers in the NBA the way you do at the college level. So those are his weaknesses. That post defense, the jump shot, not there. Shot selection, I think, will have to improve. But otherwise, a passer, rebounder, scorer, and all around smart player who can block shots, defend the rim at an undersized position, and switch across the perimeter fits the Celtics system. Not quite the drop center they used defensively last year in Horford's case and Rob's, but this is a guy that I think could be a good project for the future, even at 23 years old, which is another reason he'll probably be available to the Celtics in that second round or go just before them. So we'll get to some other options. Of course, we are brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel.com/Garden is going to get you a no sweat bet up to $1,000 when you visit FanDuel.com/Boston. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. And Factor Meals, factormeals.com/garden50 will get you 50% off your first box when you head over there. Springtime, you want to get outside, almost summertime at this point officially. Get out there. Don't waste your time in the kitchen and the uh, supermarket. Get out there and heat this up. Just takes a couple minutes. All of it. Uh, Great options. You can look at some of them here. The shakes, the bars, the salmon. I love that. All quick, all to your door. That's factormeals.com/garden50 for 50% off your first box when you head over there. And Athletic Greens, athleticgreens.com/garden is going to get you a year's supply of vitamin D as well as 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Our NBA draft series continues. Check out if Trayce Jackson-Davis isn't available, who did work out for the Celtics earlier this month. There's some other options, not only among those who they worked out, but those who could potentially be available. So go check those out on Celtics All Access and join us live on Thursday for the NBA Draft on CLNS Media. I am Bobby Manning.